Hello.
Hey, I see what's quirky and fun. Unlike the 80,000 tabs that Sam alleged to have open a moment ago.
I'm sorry, it's not my fault you can't tell hyperbole from reality.
Well, look, okay. In fairness, chat, Sam could, in fact, have 80,000 80,000 tabs open. My tie has gone like fluoro over here. Apparently I've
Jess,
been
it kind of
smoking.
works.
Look, yeah, apparently my avatar has some issues there, and we're just getting trippy up
I'm
in
just
this
gonna say that
bitch.
the tie being fluoro like that kind of works, Jess.
Look, I know, but the rest of me is also mushy. But whatever. We'll just roll this until it glitches out.
And when it glitches, oh, there we go. It's starting to glitch.
Ah. Here we go. My hair.
uh,
I don't understand why it does this. Like,
let's get it out of the
it
way.
does not.
I am Sam.
Oh, and I'm Jess.
We're the Genderati, and woo, we have a new government. Oh, I lost you. Oh, while she wiggles. Yep,
Mm,
because I knew she was going to wiggle.
yeah. Well, I
That
just
that
wiggled
is your
because I
sign
couldn't do
for
anything else.
hold up.
Not necessarily. I also wiggled just wiggle. Why
Mm,
not?
just cause.
Get like some LMFAO up in here. Wiggle,
Mm.
wiggle, 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 wiggle. Yeah. Like, no. So it's Sam could genuinely have 80,000 tabs open. I've seen their browser like open and like I mean
Oh, I'd
like
have to go for my entire history in the other tool and look. Anyway.
yeah,
Hyperbole
but you
aside,
you're
we
the
now
kind of
have a new
person who
government, Jess.
we
The votes are cast. The election results are in. Australia has a new prime minister slash the same prime minister, and I've only just begun checking the results. Yeah, you were telling me you have thoughts. Oh, for fuck's sake!
like, hey, let's get a bit fashy up in here. We like fascism now. And I
If
don't
anything was critical
understand
in
why
that opening, Jess, please repeat because it did itself again.
Oh, did it again? Mm.
Yeah, I'm not going to minimize it this time. I'm just going to leave it there. See if it's any better that way.
What's this?
The This is the thing where I should probably keep a very subtle background music cue so that I know when things break.
Oh, did we break? The stream broke.
The audio broke.
Oh, well there you go.
So I'm going to
Shall
leave the
I?
background audio in like very subtle, and then if it disappears suddenly, I know to double check things faster. That one was pretty quick, but I did miss a
Mm,
few seconds of what you were saying as you began.
mm. I would love to know how to do that bubble thing. That is impressive. Can I
There's
also have
definitely
the
some
outfit?
look. There's definitely
It's my vibe.
some. The gloves are definitely part of what makes this work. I am absolutely sure that part of the technique is glove.
Look, gloves are very handy for a lot of things there.
Mm.
I would recommend to the chat that nitrile gloves are the way to go, preferably heavy duty. And look, if you
I have
find,
a
or
feeling for this you want light and flexible. Jess, we are getting very distracted, just like I thought this clip might do.
But yeah, no. So we have
So
the
where did you
same
miss
we have
me?
the same government as before.
Because I was saying
Huh?
something and then it clipped.
Oh. Uh.
Yeah, the audio is being a real bitch to us tonight.
Yeah, it's
I
kicking our
like that we
ass.
pre-stream, which means that we can basically just drop straight into this and YouTube doesn't penalize us.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's like the first 5-10 minutes of the stream, you can't use certain swear words without it being all like, meh, angry. But that does remind me, I need to make sure this stream is set to 18 only. And double check the
Yes.
chat. But while I'm doing that, Jess, you were telling me that you had
Yes.
opinions and thoughts.
Yeah, so the short version is there was a gentleman often referred to as Mr. Potato Head of the fascist sympathizers here in Australia.
I
And
mean, look, I just call him that bald dipshit.
yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows who I
I,
mean.
yeah. Well, international folks may not. Like if
He's
you
the
were
bald
if you
guy
were to
that looks
say
like
out
you couldn't
loud,
trust your kids with him.
yeah. Look,
I said
I've
looks
got a photo
like,
of him
which
up
means
right.
it's not defamation.
No. And there's lots of reasons you wouldn't trust people with your kids. Um, I'm a little bit picky to who the kids are around as well because predictive mum, all that sort of
That's
stuff
just
there.
good parenting.
But yeah. I try my best. But the fun thing here, I'm trying to analyze as to why, much like the landslide of tabs that Sam did not have open, but was causing some issues there. The shall we say the less shit or dare I say it, most unshit party or major party here in Australia was the one that continued to be in power, and in a very Australian way, it was kind of a big yeah nah to
Yeah, nah,
to
bro.
Mr. Potato Head, and yeah, like yeah nah, yeah no, just
Yeah,
very
nah.
nah because
Yeah, nah.
um yeah, but I've
Nah.
got some interest. I've pulled some stuff here because like I wasn't following the campaign because I'm like I know who
Oh,
I'm
I
voting
wasn't
for.
either
They're not
because
fascists.
I actually did. I actually changed my voting preferences this time, just a little bit,
Mm.
because
Yeah,
of some stuff I was watching and
friendly
learning
Geordies
about
by
various
chance.
things. Well, no, in this case, I in previous years, the Australian Democrats had been down there with the various cranks, right?
Mm.
And until I actually found out what their deal was, and I mean, look, they're still cranks, but they're the kind of cranks where
Mm.
I'm like, look, nobody's going to take the crank part of your party seriously. The part of your party that actually has some good ideas is viable. But the crank stuff is just like, oh, okay. You're such cranks that it's safe to vote for you based on the good stuff because the crank stuff
Well,
is just batshit.
see, it's interesting as
Like,
well because
secret cabal conspiracy level crank shit. But look, the rest of the stuff that they're talking about, like raising the tax-free threshold and
mm,
funding infrastructure projects, I can't say that's a bad thing. That's a good thing for this country. The
yeah,
crank
but you know
stuff
who
is
also did
batshit
that?
insane.
I was gonna say, you know who also did that and
Well,
slash
yeah,
does
just about
that and will
everyone.
continue to do this? Yeah, but also the party that's in power. Um,
Assuming, of course, that they
again,
don't do dumb shit this time, because they could
yeah.
just do dumb shit. They have a really strong habit of promising shit and then not doing it, because we know that's a
Well,
thing.
look, they promised the NBN, and that is what is broadcasting me here. So
Yeah, they
and
promised the
the
NBN and then didn't deliver it because they got kicked out because they
no,
sucked.
well,
I have
yes,
beef with the
but
NBN, okay? Don't get me started.
yeah, but do you know who fucked it up? There we go, YouTube, the first one. Do you know who fucked up the NBN? Malcolm
Yeah,
Turnbull.
the Labour Party by fucking it up out the
No,
gate. The Liberals
no,
just fucked it
Turnbull.
harder. It was a tag team.
Did you read?
Yeah, I
I
got
remember.
opinions.
I remember reading the way back in the before times chat. I remember reading
Well,
Malcolm
here we go.
Turnbull's submission to the hey, here's what we're actually going to do with the NBN now that we promised to do it, and we can't undo it because it's probably a decent idea, but we're going to use mixed technology to, fuck the whole thing up entirely. For the fact, like, I only got fiber for the remaining from my front door to my office. That was last year, late last year. I've had fiber to the curb for 2 or 3 maybe. I don't know. But yeah. And look, the whole let's continue to use the copper wires for like a huge portion of the infrastructure and then not upgrade it to fiber. And oh wait, actually, that was a dumb idea. We need to replace all the fiber, everything to fiber now. It was just a really dumb bullshit reason. Like it was like, oh no, but we don't want to upset Telstra, who owns all the copper cables, and it's cheaper this way. It wasn't cheaper this way. I know, but look. The important thing, the not fascists won, and the fascist sympathizers did not. And how Jess, you say, how do you call them fascist sympathizers, and how could you possibly say that they're fascist sympathizers? Well, one of their they tried to politicize my existence, and then again, surprisingly, 80% or thereabout 80% of the Australian population said, we don't want trans people to be politicized this time around. Like, just don't do that, thanks. And then also, if you
but just don't forget, don't forget that Labor did throw that bone in that direction before the election because they wanted to neutralize the question. We talked about this.
Well, no, but who called for it? Who called for that? We need to have a royal commission into.
Well, yes. They called
gender
for
affirming healthcare for under 18s in Queensland specifically, and then the federal government was like, okay, let's neutralize this quick. So the people who neutralized it, continue to be in power. Anyway,
the commitment.
If you open your DM, Sam,
is less a bit rosy. I will fire up. What's up?
I have a delightful, delightful article from The Guardian, one of the more central and less owned by Rupert Murdoch.
In Australia, they are central. In the UK, they are much less central. It needs to be said because there is.
Yes.
I'm particularly keen on many of the various like critiques that are being fed The Guardian's way when it comes to their journalism in the UK. They are extremely left in the US. They are roughly central in Australia, but in the UK, they're borderline right wing.
It's
partly because in the UK they've got all the TERFs. Like a lot of the UK editing staff, real terrible people.
Sure, but speaking of terrible people, here we have one of the fascist sympathizing MP hopefuls wearing a lovely white hat, interestingly, for Christmas with gold writing, but I believe the words stand for themselves. And this is one of our Indigenous Australian I don't understand why, as an Indigenous person, you would align with the fascists. It boggles my mind. It just blows my mind a little bit. I'm like, honey.
Jess, 3 words. Blacks for Trump. Now, look, I admit that a good part of it was bullshit, made up, paid crap. But there were people who did align with that, who organically came to the opinion, hey, this is going to be good for me. The fact that the guy's a lying dipshit who's changed his mind on everything, yeah.
Also, she was not an MP, sorry.
Senator.
She's a Northern Territory senator.
Northern Territory.
There you go. Tell me you're a fascist without telling me you're a fascist or a fascist sympathizer. It's those hats that have the M, A, G, and A on them that really just scream it out. Especially after, this is...
Jess, at the risk of getting sued by Clive Palmer, which, to be fair, bring it. Bring it, bitch.
Oh, Clive Palmer and his soft, shitty, fat body. I believe that
No,
is
no,
a
no, no.
quote
Jess,
from
Clive
the.
Palmer and his Make Australia Great hats.
Mm,
He started that shit.
um, I believe you are officially not allowed to call. Well, it is inadvisable to call Clive Palmer shitty McFuckface or fatty
Mm.
McFuckface specifically. Although
To be
I
fair, he did
believe
back down on that,
Geordie's.
which is, I guess, an
He did.
admission of
We,
truth.
it is, yeah, yeah. And the reason I feel fairly confident in quoting Fatty McFuckface is a nickname that has been used for
Well,
Clive
I mean,
Palmer by
I think, Jess,
other
we're
people
fairly safe
online.
ground here because we're quoting a legal document that was submitted before the court,
Yes.
which means
It is
that we
also
are
the
only
opinion of.
describing the
Mm,
court document, not actually ascribing our own personal opinions here. My
yeah,
personal
in my
opinion is the man
opinion,
couldn't run a goddamn golf course and managed to bankrupt things almost as bad as Trump does. The only thing he's ever succeeded at is digging damn shit out the ground, and he got lucky when he fucking did that. Just like
and
many of Australia's billionaires, they found the right plot of dirt. Congratulations, you
yeah,
found a plot of dirt. Yay,
and
big
I would.
claps for you. You dug in the sandpit the right way. Aren't you a smart little boy?
Oh, wow. Okay, I like how we've minimized mining magnates to digging in the sandpit. That is delightful. Um,
I mean, Jess,
that's
can you
worse.
really
Then they're delegating the digging.
because these days I know what is involved in prospecting these days. I'm actually reasonably familiar with it because one of the
Mm,
high-end
I
value
know.
parts of my profession involves stupidly large computer things used to find shit without digging. Do you know what they used to just do?
Yeah.
They used to borrow
They,
100 grand, drive out into the middle of nowhere, dig a bunch of vertical holes, find the fucking right thing by
hmm
sheer dumb luck, and strike it rich. Which means they got lucky digging in the sandpit.
Well, there's more to it than luck. They also had it stacked in their favor. With a lot of the
Yeah, they
prospecting
could borrow the
companies we
100 grand.
listed, they could borrow the 100 grand and they can incorporate their business as an NL as opposed to a
Oh yes, but
um,
the government stuff for that was extremely generous, and it always has been.
yeah. They wanted us to find shit in the dirt. They're like,
They
the
always
Australian
do.
government's like, hey, we have a very big sand pit.
I
Go
would
dig
like
in it,
money,
please. Please
and
dig
be
for me.
lazy. Yeah, let's take the
Yeah,
laziest
but
way out. Yeah.
we're also really bad at taxing them for like we want money, and then the
We
mining
could have a
magnates find the
sovereign wealth
dirt.
fund bigger than Norway, and we don't. I wish to
We
kill
should.
people over this because if I could go back in
Mm.
time, that would be my time machine move.
Oh,
And
there
I
you
don't think
go.
I'd even have to kill anyone for it. It would just be my time machine move. I would come back to a much better future.
Yeah, yeah. Although, look, butterfly effect, fuck knows what would happen. Like,
Oh yeah,
it's
like I could
always,
come back to a ghost town for Christ's sake because this is Perth. Like how much of this like
oh,
could
you're like,
collapse the
ah,
entire
I've,
state economy by accident? Look, no
mm,
idea. But you know what? I got a
it
time
does.
machine. Back to the Future rules. I get a second shot. I come back, shit's weird. Whoop, straight back to the time machine.
Go back further, change nothing this time. You're like, look,
Go back
it's
further,
a ghost
tap
town
myself on the
now.
shoulder, and be like, "Bro, stop."
Well, no, not even. You just go back even further then and just live a different life earlier in the piece. Be like, ah,
Eh,
yes, I have all
nah,
this
it'd be more
knowledge of
fun.
the future.
It would be more fun to create a time loop.
Oh God,
You
have you
got to admit,
watched
it would be more
Looper?
fun to create a time loop.
I don't know. I don't want to blink myself out of existence because if I tap myself on the shoulder these days, before times means like, who the fuck are you? Why do you look like my sister but
Oh no
not?
no
I'm
no!
like,
But Jess,
well,
Jess, you'd be tapping you
surprise.
now in the past, having gone through the time
Mm,
machine. You'd be going back like 5 minutes later, and then coming back, and you'd basically be having the "I'm you 5 minutes from now" conversation that goes on in many
yeah,
time travel
don't do that.
comedies.
Yeah, it's the this thing works out really poorly. Don't. But also, I'm a defiant bitch, and I would do it anyway. I wouldn't trust myself. I'd be like, look, we both
But why
know this
wouldn't
is
you
not going
trust
to
yourself
work.
from the future, Jess?
How do I know it's not me from the past? From the
Because
future?
you would be you from the past, you idiot.
Timey-wimey bullshit gets
No,
weird.
you're positing a past version of you that you don't remember.
No, I'm suggesting like no, because the I know what I would do if I was like, ah, yes, well, this worked out
I really need a
poorly, but
prop for what I'm
I've
drinking.
done the right thing. well, I would try and ascertain that I had done the right thing, and then would just go back even before my own existence and live a second time loop and do some. Yeah, I guess I live in the 80s
So what
now.
you're telling me, Jess, what you're
Surprise!
telling me
I'm in
is
the
that you need a
80s.
time travel safe word.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh God, you know, I think that is a sensible point at which maybe we just jump to like
Mm.
what the results were.
Yeah. Yes. But okay,
Because if we
it is
keep
worth
digging
noting
this
that.
rabbit hole, we will be attempting to hit pay dirt faster than most of these mining billionaires do.
Yeah. Yep. Well, let's have a look here. So the words landslide have been used.
Oh, very
Um,
much so. Because look at this
like
graph. Woo!
another word for it would be dicking, like a good solid dicking.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. But to be
and the
fair,
reason.
that look, it is it. Yeah, I'm trying to find the good one. The Guardian usually have a decent interactive graph.
Watching it do real
There we
time here,
go.
chat. So much of this, like, put it this way, all the trans folk in Australia were like, oh dear God, because
I love these
they
maps.
would
I
just,
actually know a lot about what goes into making them, and it fascinates me how much of a pain in the ass it is to get them to run really well. but at the same time, I'm absolutely in love with the fact that we can make them work well in just a browser like this. It's a
oh,
triumph of my profession.
I'm curious. There's a lot of red around me. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh, I guess the odds
Oh wait,
aren't
no, no,
good
red is
for
good. Sorry, we've done so much American politics that
your
I forgot
American
what colors
poison right
our
now.
were.
But
Ours are the
Jess,
opposite.
I saw this comment the other
Red is
day.
the not
I'm not going to bother
fascists.
digging up the tweet. But I did like it because I absolutely categorically agree that the Americans have it right because they are going on lightsaber rules. Blue is good, red is
Yeah,
bad. And we have it
yeah,
wrong, as does the UK and Canada.
yeah. We're using what
The good guys use red.
capitalism, like horny for capitalism, blue, horny for Labour Party's Soviet Union, red. Like it's crazy. It doesn't make sense, but anyway,
Of course, we do have to address the fact that right now, I'm sure that there are some people who are bitching it, but look at all the land area.
with the
So
four
much of
people
the
living in
country is
it.
blue, and yet, oh no, not represent. It's like, fuck off. I'm sorry,
Oh,
do you
okay.
have any idea why those areas are big? Because there's nobody in them, and we have a functional system. For anyone who's commenting from overseas, we have a functional system where an independent party that is not party, an independent body, let's not get the terminology confused here, an independent body that has no ties to the government is actually statutorily protected from government interference, is responsible for deciding
Mm,
where the fuck these lines get drawn. The idea of
yeah,
gerrymandering does not exist in Australia. It does as a thing we fucking fight tooth and nail to avoid any fucker doing.
yeah,
And we're pretty
yep.
good at it here.
It takes a lot to change the borders of an electorate as well. Like
Mm.
my suburb was moved at one point. I can't remember if it was the federal or if it was the state election that we were moved in. But like I'm over here in Burt, which is the right on the edge of the red before hitting the blue. A little lower, nope, down, right. There we go. That's me somewhere in that little hexagonal. That's where I live in the civilization map. Um, and
And for reference, I'm just a short way over here in this one. You know, not far
yeah,
apart.
like
Still in the big red
which is
tranche.
yeah. Apparently, though, the people who live next door, they're a little bit. Well, the margin's only 1.2% in favour of the fascists.
To be fair, are you
So,
surprised at this particular little cluster here?
oh, hang on, I've zoomed in too far. Oh, where's that one?
More.
Oh, we've also got the independents there in the purple. I thought it was
Mm-hmm.
teal, but anyway, purple works, I guess.
It depends. It
Um,
depends on their alliance. But no, Moore is a fascinating little tidbit because that's where all the rich pricks live.
oh yes.
It's Cottesloe and all of the. I bought this property for
You mean
200 grand like 80 years ago, and
I'm
I'll be
guessing it's
damned.
probably also. Let me just double check what
Actually, I'm going to pull up a
electorate.
postcode map.
Yeah. I'm just curious. Just yeah. There we go. Oh, you can do it by geographical map there as well. And
Oh, they've got
just is
again.
it?
We have a wonderful, wonderful network of systems that make this very easy to dig up. In fact, for some of these things, the electoral data is remarkably detailed. Like you can actually, you can't get names, but you can actually, once they're done counting all of this, you can go back and get polling place specific data and where the polling places are. So you can actually like drill down into which parts of a suburb or which parts of an electorate are the most whatever you're looking for. We actually have really transparent elections in this country, and I kind of fucking love it.
Hmm. I'm curious here because it's the independents who are in the. It's the independents in the very rich area.
Well, yes, but this whole section here, the two of them are actually the little coastal strip where some of the most high value property is. So,
Yeah, you see, the blue bit is the richest
the key
of
bit here,
them.
though, is the absolute richest is actually is technically in Perth and Cowan. But the problem is those richest bits are in tiny pockets, whereas this section here, Moore and Curtin, is just a big old strip of rich pricks, just hogging the coastline.
It's residential. It's all residential.
It's just
Whereas,
all hogging that coastline.
Yeah.
Coastal property,
doesn't.
inner city coastal property, very high value. It is extremely high value Perth-wise because there's just not enough like residential density anywhere else because like the inner city equivalent of like South Perth just doesn't cut it. Like it just doesn't. There's just not enough density because the property value drops the moment you get more than 100 meters from the water.
Yeah, and look, it's
whereas
one
here,
of those things.
Like a whole suburb is high value. Yeah.
Well, I mean, in Perth, there are not. It's not like in our CBD that there are a lot of penthouses. Like you, Sam, live in that electorate in an apartment,
Yes.
and
I get to vote for the Lord Mayor of Perth.
Oh, yes, you would, wouldn't you?
And I get to
okay.
vote for the Lord Mayor of Perth by virtue of moving across a street. Woo! Didn't change what street I live on, but I changed the number on it, and now I can vote for the Lord Mayor of Perth.
Oh, God.
It's a very small area.
It's like, yeah. But no, gerrymandering, not a thing here in Australia.
Look, there is a
thankfully.
limited amount of it, but it is extremely minor. It is what it comes down to is second order gerrymandering, right? What they have to do if they want to gerrymander is they've got to basically they've got to do things that either prop up the housing market in such a way that they can build a liberal housing base in that suburb. Like they have to either be building public housing or cranking the property values so high that everyone just decides, actually, I feel rich now, so I'm voting liberal. Like it's not directly I can change the borders. It's I can change the people who live here. But that's slower. And also, if that changes the population of the area, the independent department that deals with all of this actually just redraws the border. So it's tricky. You can't trust it, and most people don't try it. People have, but it's not predictable and it's not worth it. So it's usually pricks who try it.
But also, Australia is a funny country when it comes to political. Like we do not have term limits. Like
no,
there's no 2-term limit. You could so we had.
But we have a parliamentary
Howard
democracy based on the Westminster system, which means that basically you aren't voting for a person who is the head of state. The head of state is technically the Governor General as representative of the Queen. And look,
they don't do much, but
unless the CIA get involved.
Huh?
Oh, do you not know that Gough Whitlam was kicked out because of the CIA?
I did not.
Chat, we're going to save this for another time because Jess needs a history lesson.
Okay, look, in fairness, I started caring about politics
CAA
when
and
I became an
regime change in
adult.
Australia.
And yeah, I didn't really go back before me being an adult. All I know is like John Howard was around for a long time and his big bushy fucking eyebrows existed, and for 12 years they wiggled at us. But as my one of my
He's
partners
also
pointed out,
responsible for fucking up almost all of our shit right now. We're still unfucking the mess.
yeah, although I believe if and I'm quite confident in this, as pointed out by one of my partners, John Howard bet the farm on gun control and post Port Arthur massacre. The whole, yeah, we're gonna take those guns away. No, no to those guns.
It wasn't so much
You
betting the
can't have the
farm as
crazy
he had
guns.
sufficient majority that it felt safe. If he actually
Well,
didn't feel
safe
confident in his
though?
majority, he wouldn't have done it.
Yeah, but this is the fascist party. The fascist party took away the guns because we don't have a Second Amendment, which is all like, yes, the right to bear guns. No, no, that's not a right here.
Jess, are you actually going to start me on this? Are you going to start me on this? No, because like I
You've got a
don't mind
time.
getting
You have a
riled up on
self-imposed
this
time
one.
limit. You have a self-imposed
I
time limit
do,
here.
which is why I'm like, oh god damn it, Jess, don't taunt me on this. I'm going to
I
get
mean,
a timeline here. Hold up. I need a Howard government timeline.
suffice to say, we didn't slide into fascism this time.
No, we're
It's kind
continuing
of
to
the
climb out of it
overarching thing.
actually.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, basically, we have a government that is attempting to undo some of. Because the majorities necessary to undo things in Australia are non-trivial. Like you need a significant number of people, just like any decent democracy. You kind of need something in the vicinity of 2/3 to fully wind back the big things. You know, not just chip away at the
Yeah.
basic, make sure everyone gets paid stuff. So consequently, the fact that we've actually got significant majority means that the current and incoming government will be able to continue their effort to chip away and fix bullshit left over from previous Liberal governments and the brief interregnum that was the GFC era Liberal bullshit.
Oh, also, I've got one quick thing as here as well. So, Mr. Potato Head, the former leader of the fascist sympathizers,
Also,
made a
Jess,
little bit of
I
history.
have to correct myself. It was actually 8 weeks into his first term, and now here's the thing. The reason I am not correcting myself on it being safe enough is that he wasn't able to build a majority for his keystone legislation in his first term until well after that. The thing he wanted to do and that proceeded to fuck up Australia to the point where we're still unfucking it is not something he was able to achieve until well after the gun control changes. So that was a
what's the
safe
fuckery
move.
he meant?
Work choices.
Remember that, like, yeah, that fuckery. I remember that.
Work choices combined
Yep,
with
okay.
changes to the law around unions, as like not just the work choices legislation itself, but the other changes around unions, the changes around superannuation planning, and the changes around property taxation and negative gearing, which basically flipped it from a hey, invest in your super, union's good, to a everyone out for yourselves, buy a fucking property or die poor and alone when you get old.
Yeah. We're weirdly strange. The Australian dream is to own a home or a property.
It didn't used to be.
Or multiple. I say dream, it's the asterisk. It was kind of forced
It used
upon
to
us
be
by way of
have a
negative
nice
gearing.
big place that you liked and were happy with. It didn't
That's
used to be
kind
a
of what
quarter
I'm
acre block.
working on.
That was very much a late 90s propaganda move. If you look pre Howard government, you will not find a lot of shit about the Australian dream being a quarter acre block. Because you start seeing that shit get crept in by way of Murdoch crap post Howard as a property nudge.
I wonder. Ooh,
It
okay,
did
so the
exist
quarter acre.
before, but
so
it was
quarter acre.
doubled down.
A quarter acre is just over 1,000 square meters, or if you want feet, almost 11,000 square feet if you're using Freedom units over there. Interestingly, mine's only a little smaller than that.
No, that's right, because
Mine's like
the reason why that was used as such an effective slogan and such an effective marketing and propaganda tool was the fact that that is the average suburban fucking plot size.
Yeah.
It sounds big because no one knows what the fuck the number is until they buy a place. Then they just know it's about the size of my place.
Yeah. And like you've been to my house as well. I
You
have
a perfectly
huge amount of
average
fucking
size
front.
block.
I know, like so about 680 square meters on the nose, and
If anything, it's actually interesting that your
land.
suburb has more square block than usual. Most suburbs are actually a little bit deeper and a little bit narrower block-wise. They'll trade some width for depth because that means less roads are required.
We got chode blocks, but we got that frontage, baby.
Well, no, it's because of it's a vestige of the suburban planning in your suburb that involved the sort of the park corridor stuff that goes on nearby, where they went for breadth and sort of a deeper back area that isn't really where you are, but it's nearby, and they were planning on having sort of similar like back fence backs onto a park corridor kind of thing everywhere, but they kind of abandoned it halfway through the suburb. It's some history shit.
They do have that in Thornley around.
Yes,
not far from
and the original plan was to extend that to a couple of suburbs around because as the government pushed out, that was the theme of the time. I'm once again demonstrating I know too much.
Well, yeah, it has got some problems though because this requires rezoning properties, and like my house is a smallish house on a bigger than the new average. Like the house, like blocks is now like 450, 400, 375 square meters, and mine's like double that. And I have a small house, smaller than the current house sizes, in the middle of a block twice as big as that, and with not a huge amount of side access. That like you could theoretically, if they rezoned the shit out of it. Well, yeah, mine. You've seen my block. I have a gate that can be knocked out and turned into a driveway for a second house.
Oh, right, you mean that kind of side access? No, I meant actual side access. This shit. Yeah.
But the weird thing here is, it's like, well, firstly, I'm poly and I have no plans to do that.
That's actually really interesting. No, you're right, because I just realized what you mean here. That your suburb is difficult to subdivide.
Yes.
Interesting.
If it were fatter, you could subdivide it easier.
Yeah, you could do the duplexing, but if it were narrower, you could do the back-to-back. But because you're very square, you can't, which is interesting.
Well, it's still rectangular. You could.
No,
they
but
just
not
have to
as
zone
much.
it very
Not
dense.
as much as.
If they zone it densely, you can. But also,
let me find a plot.
We are required to be
I
like.
want to use a comparison point here because I'm sure I can pull one up here.
But like. My house, like I have a shitload of front yard, and I'm like, and as much backyard, with a shed and other things there as well, and it's just like, this is a lot of land for not me using all of it. So like my house takes.
I'm not going to go and try and find the plot measurements. No. I'm
Actually,
I was about to try and
like
find the plot
50% of the
measurements
block.
from where it used to be.
Yeah.
Well, that's actually pretty normal, but no.
But
anyway.
yeah, it's funny as well because if you've been to other countries as well, like you'll notice that some places, like my front door is like 15 or 10 plus meters away from the front of the street. Some houses are that wide in certain countries, and then like my house itself is 20 meters deep and 15 meters wide. And like these are just numbers. I'm like, I don't think it doxes me too much. You know, we live in Australia. That's kind of where we're at. And oh look, I gave you the electorate. It's currently on screen. Come at me, bro.
Look.
I've never been one for anonymity. Like
I've also on regular occasions pointed out where I live in terms of area. Because I'm not going to commit to
But how many people live in apartments in Perth, Sam?
Exactly.
Thousands and
Thousands, which is why I'm not particularly worried. But, you know, specificity is important and an understanding of the difference is what's relevant.
Yeah, but
Now,
it's interesting. Like just
yeah,
politics in Australia are very different.
they
Something as
really
simple
are.
as oh, I was gonna say, oh, Matt Keogh. I've actually met him. He's a lovely guy. It's I may have just voted for him, but
But Jess, it's a secret ballot. You're not supposed to say.
what did I just say? That anonymity. I don't. No.
Oh
Okay. Well,
God.
here's some fun facts. Like, it's fun observations. Observations of mine. Friend of mine who was like, I'm not going to vote. I'm just going to accept the fine. Like, here, mandatory voting. You don't vote, you get fined. They're like,
I
I'm
did
just
get
going to
fined
take the
once, by the
fine.
way.
And I was like,
Just
that's
you know, for
silly.
transparency, I
You're
forgot
coming
to
to
vote in
my
the daylight
house and I
savings
have to
time
vote.
election.
And I'm not getting a fine. And I, like, because there are potential fascists up in here, I don't want the fascists to win. So we should not,
Just
we should
everyone
we
got to
should
vote.
vote. Come with me, bring all four of the children and we'll vote. It's fine. We'll do it. It's fine.
You can get some
And
babysitting temporarily, and let's just get this done. Yeah.
well, with three parents, we can just rotate who's looking
Yeah,
after the
exactly.
kids between.
Someone
Yeah, yeah.
corrals the kids, and the other person's gonna
But
go
here's the,
vote. Easy enough.
I believe you made comment to. Oh no, actually, sorry, it's my partner who made comment as to the man covered in shit argument, which is the often here, like, and I think this is what happened with the Liberal Party as well. They're like, yes, we like wearing MAGA hats and politicizing trans people and generally trying to wind back protections and giving billionaires more money. And that's all the exact same things that seem to be very popular in America if you live in a red state. Remembering that the colors are inverted here. And yeah, it's almost like the Tangerine Palpatine is the man covered in shit, and everyone in Australia was like, "Ew, that's fucking disgusting. What's happening over there? No, thank you. Get fucked. Vote hard to the opposite direction. Increase the margin drastically." But the contrary nature of Australian voting is like my friend. I took her voting with her partner. I got no idea who her partner voted for. But she's like, oh, yeah, no, I voted for the blue team. I'm like, you fucking what now? I would have rather pay the fine for you. And she's like, well, my mum said this. Mum is an idiot and always wrong and, is horrible to me. And that is fairly accurate. And so I voted the opposite way. Man covered in shit, in this case, being her mum. And I'm like, oh, honey. She's like, and then she like repeated a couple of talking points for the blue team here, who are the fascist sympathizers. And I'm like, oh, honey, they want to kill me. You know how we babysit each other's kids and stuff, and like they want to kill me. They want me to have no rights or less of them, and then eventually, because fascism is a slippery slope, right? Once they go, ooh, sympathizing worked, maybe we'll just lean harder on the fasci policies. Eventually it gets to, let's round up all the autistic folk, all of the trans folk, all the disabled folk, and all the queers, and then, gas chamber them in, the 1935, 1940, 1945 sort of category. Yeah, those years bad. And I'm like, oh, honey, I was like, ooh, you did the man in shit thing and you voted against someone you don't like because they said something, but even a broken clock is right twice a day. So we'll fix it next time.
Look, hold on, Jess.
I think I'm going to live. If I'm alive at the end of this.
Metaphor here, Jess, because even the dipshits have some shit correct because,
Yes.
one of the only things the Liberals did well was realize, actually, maybe this country needs to get the fuck off its nuclear bandwagon, because I'm sorry, we have literally the world's largest uranium reserves. We could be making bank if we refined it and processed it and used it domestically, and that would actually mean we had to make it. Then we could be selling it, and there are only two countries that sell it: France and America. It's a very small market, and everyone else either makes it domestically as part of like government-sanctioned programs or buys it from France or America. And France does not have a lot to sell, which means that it's almost an American monopoly on enriched uranium. So, there is actually a fuckload of money to be made as a high-skill industry with very little environmental impact. And, responsibly managed, that's pretty good. That's just good fucking money.
And like we've talked about this before, nuclear is a tricky thing in that it's here in Australia, it's a no. It's a covered in shit argument. It's a no. Well,
it is, but it shouldn't be.
We also, yeah, but look at the big empty blue bit in the middle of the country. Solar farm, baby. You could solar farm the absolute like a big old shit chunk out of our entire country.
Where 10% of the world's uranium sits.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot because it turns out you need old rock for uranium. You need really old rock for uranium, right?
We have lots of really old rocks. Some of it has gold, some of it has copper, some has uranium.
There's not a lot of places in the world that have rock as old as ours, and that old rock is actually extremely because the rock that solidified that old, like that far back in time, where the uranium hadn't sunk to the core, had more of it. We have a fuckload more of it because basically, by percentage of our entire country, there is more old rock than almost any other fucking country on the planet, right?
We have lots of old rocks. Like
Canada's got some really fucking old rocks. South Africa has some really old rocks, but nobody beats us for old rocks. Like Russia could try. But the problem is, the Deccan and Siberian traps basically covered their entire country in lava hundreds of millions of years ago. So it's not that fucking old. You're digging through kilometers of lava to get to the fucking older rocks anyway. For us, it's on the fucking surface. And that's the thing. It's just there. And that means that, we have all these lovely old minerals.
Yep. Something about blue and asbestos. Anyway, Australian politics is interesting because you can have the blue team can be in charge of Australia for 12 years running and do some good, like put gun controls in. Port Arthur massacre. We've had one serious mass shooting in Australia. And then they were like, right, that's it. No more guns. Go see Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries, not endorsing him as a person necessarily, but the gun control is a very excellent piece of comedy about our take on how gun control went. It's very much a case of, no, the fuck we won't, actually. We will not have repeated mass shootings.
Look, I personally think we overshot, but that's just because I don't trust cops. Because, ACAB.
Yeah. Look, things got a little bit fashy up in COVID with the cops and don't leave your house more than this many kilometres and such for a little while there.
In WA, we had it pretty good. But no, when it comes to...
we did nothing happened. Yeah,
when it comes to the way that Australia regulates guns... Look, I think that sensible gun regulation is a very fucking good thing. And, I'm going to be the first person to be like, yo, Second Amendment style shit is just too fucking batshit. But, the thing where, for instance, in Western Australia... Basically, the police commissioner decides if it looks too much like a gun, we're going to ban it as some kind of a weapon because we're afraid of dealing with it. That also, is an extremely national problem because, for instance, in Tasmania, you can't have certain kinds of organized sports that seem too much like military drills. You can't run around with Nerf guns in too much of a military way. Our country knee-jerked so hard, we fucked it. We did good, hard, but we went too far.
I'm gonna come the parent angle here and be like, you know what?
Jess, here's the thing. How many permission slips do you think you should have to sign? Or do you think you should be allowed to sign a permission slip and just be like, yeah, no, they can go have fun?
With what?
Something that might be questionable.
I have Nerf guns for my children in my house.
I've got Nerf guns too. But do you know that technically, if you were to be an absolute cunt about it, and I'm going to use that word just for a very good reason here.
Yeah.
If you read the letter of the law in the Western Australian firearms definition, technically a Nerf gun is a firearm.
technically, yeah. We're a bit of a nanny state. Um,
The only reason
as
it's
a mum,
not
though, I'm kind
is
of like, you
because the
know
police
what?
commissioner decides I'm
This
not going to
sucks
be
a
a
little
dipshit.
bit.
But
It's kind
like,
of a bit sucky. But
that's too extreme. Like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not in favor of living under a regime legally where it's up to the beneficence of one human being to not crack down on an
yeah,
otherwise
that's a
like
slight
I'm like
issue.
no. This
The
is
police
some
commissioner here has a
harboring.
little much power. And
This is some
considering that my transness has been policed before, specifically by cops being sent to my door, was not lovely.
I'm gonna find a list here because I'm gonna use a
Didn't
very
love
specific
it.
reference. It is Third Amendment shit. I'm not fond of living under a sword of Damocles Third Amendment style. Now, the
Hang on,
Third
so Third
Amendment, for
Amendment
anyone
is,
who doesn't know American stuff, is the Third Amendment restricts the government's ability to force you to accept soldiers living in your house. Basically, as someone who has a house in pre-colonial, like colonial America under British rule, they could basically be like, "Oi, we're staying here tonight. Deal with it."
Might be nice to have
And here's the thing.
Washington on your side.
You don't want that kind of arbitrary thing happening. You want clarity. You want, like, because if they're there and they have force of law, they're duly authorized soldiers. You are basically, your home has been placed under martial law by just their existence there for the night. It's arbitrary and capricious. Now, the thing is, we basically have a similar regime when it comes to toys, for fuck's sake. And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't fucking like it. I would like us to have sensible gun legislation. We don't.
Yeah.
We have a fucking dog and pony show. An arbitrary dog and
Yeah.
pony show that is highly restrictive in the good way, but it's still a dog and pony show. And I don't fucking like the dog
Yeah.
and pony show part.
Yeah, and look, I'll admit we're like I said before, we're a nanny state. It's not always great. Like the fact that okay, I may be a mum, but you know, I might maybe like to do fun things that adults like to do, like drinking and other things that require less clothing.
For instance, like
So
actually, Jez, let's stick to the thing. Let's stick to the example. I would like to do paintball. Do you know that I only now
yeah,
can?
well, we make it very hard here.
Do you know?
I've done it before. I have a
realize,
scar
as
on
someone
my
who now
hand
owns
from
my
it.
home, as someone who now owns my home, I can do paintball now. Do you know why I couldn't before?
Why?
Because a paintball marker requires a gun safe as though I own a fucking 40-odd rifle.
Oh yeah, it does actually. Yes.
Why?
I guess you could freeze the pellets, or you could try and put marbles in it.
You could buy a fucking slingshot.
You could also just 3D print actual guns now. Hi, Sam. I believe you own several 3D printers.
Don't get me started. Don't get me
Which
started.
is why it's a bit dumb. It's a bit dumb. Like, I would love to go... Like, archery. I believe...
Oh, God, yes. We make
archery, for
crossbows
example, like,
illegal.
If you have... Crossbows are illegal.
Us in
what-
this state specifically.
Yeah, I don't think
Why?
you can- I don't think
Just
like, you
because,
can-
like, one person got hurt with a crossbow and we freaked out and decided, nope, sorry. But you know what we did? We let everyone who was already a sport crossbow shooter keep them.
So I know that, for example, to own a gun, like a handgun or any
God.
sort of gun...
No, handguns are
you need to have a
extremely
reason.
difficult to get a license for. No. Like, you
Yeah.
you will
Well,
not
no,
get a
a
license for a
handgun.
handgun.
Well, that's some trans, honey, not because of anything else. I
As
have
in,
no-
like, okay, if I wanted to own a handgun, the only circumstances under which I could get a license to own a handgun would be if I became a competitive sport shooter specifically focused on handguns and were keeping it at a handgun shooting range.
No, I believe you can have them at home.
Well, yet
How do I know
would
this?
prefer you
I've
keep
seen
it.
them.
They would prefer you keep it at the range
Prefer,
for a
yes.
while before you request permission to take it home.
Yeah, and so like,
Because
like
the
okay,
permission
crossbow,
is easy
there
to get
are-
if you say you're keeping it at the club. Like, literally,
Yeah.
people get them approved statistically more often if they are being kept at the club.
Yes,
Because
like,
once again,
okay,
our
three
transparent government actually
examples.
comes in handy sometimes when you want to dig into bullshit. Because you can
You
find out
can
about
call
this
them
sort
on
of
their
stuff.
bullshit because you just find it. It's public record.
The problem is
Um,
that we have a sequence of governments who refuse to budge on bullshit because
mm,
we got a lot of people who don't care, and a lot of people who, I suppose that's not unique to Australia. A lot of people around the world just don't care.
yeah, like okay. Crossbows. There are 3 exemptions allowed, so they're banned. They are banned with exemptions. It's a
They
right
count as a
back.
prohibited weapon, unless
Unless you are a genuine collector of crossbows and will be able to you can then possess and continue
no one
collecting
has that,
crossbows.
by the way.
Of course not, because
I
there's no
checked.
crossbow. Unless a crossbow collector moved into state, like I would like to bring my crossbow collection with me,
And
would
you'd have to
go
move
the
and then
fucking
begin
commissioner of
bothering them
police.
to get permission, and then,
Uh-huh.
You'd be rich as fuck.
Or if you have an exempt arbalest, anyone engaged in crossbow events or competitions and who belongs to an Archery Australia Incorporated member club, the changes will only allow
Now,
those people
Jess,
who are
I need to
currently
clarify
engaged in the
something here,
sport to
Jess.
continue this activity.
I want to highlight
as you
for
said
anyone who
before.
doesn't understand what the point of an arbalest is. This is an
Hmm.
arbalest. We're talking some medieval shit.
Okay. Although, if you are a
This is like
dramatic
the exemption
producer,
for flintlock rifles in America. You don't need a license in America for a flintlock rifle.
oh god,
But to be fair, you are going to have to really work at that if you want to, like, push a new lead ball and tamp down the powder with a push rod in any meaningful way.
okay, but again, bringing back some Jim Jeffries.
Oh
Jim
no,
Jeffries?
I need to
Yeah,
crank back my arbalest before I can fire again. Oh dear.
if like at this point in time, it's kind of like if you want to shoot someone with a crossbow for crime reasons, they've
You
really
just get a
fucked up
gun.
you. Well, even then, they're hard to get. Like,
No. If you were going to do crime reasons, you just go meet people
get an
for
illegal
crime.
one.
They exist.
go get a crime gun because
Go
don't
to
do that.
crime
Don't do
place
that.
and
But
do crime
also,
things. God
you
damn.
would get a crime one theoretically because it's so much easier. Because like,
And this is what's so dumb.
there's so many different license categories. You can get a professional shooter business license, a business license. So if you are, what we like to do in Australia, WA, we like to shoot vermin.
That's different.
Which, you know what? Yeah, that has a professional shooter business license exemption. You just license the business.
But they've
and
been
the
cracking down on
shooters.
in another example of how the bullshit goes, the actual categories in which they allow various firearms to be placed in. Because once again, it is not based on what it does or is. It's based on
Just what it
where they
looks
choose
like
to
and what
put
it kinda
individual
could do.
ones. So basically,
It's
they've
also
been
worth noting,
redefining what
chat, that
counts
Sam-
as a... I'll let you...
I
fill
was
in
going to
here.
say you are still salty because I believe you have some gel blasters hidden in storage in a
I do
different
not
state
have
that doesn't
any
have these
hidden
laws.
ones, thank you very
No,
much.
no,
I
sorry,
sent
hidden
all
is
of
the
mine
wrong
to
word.
Queensland or destroyed them.
Storage. Destroyed them? I thought they were in storage.
Yeah, all of the ones I didn't destroy were sent into Queensland for storage, and I need to find
Yeah.
out what the fuck happened with them. But
They could have been robbed.
no,
You've probably been robbed.
I don't know. Like, look, it's far enough back I don't care that much if it's gone, but if it's not gone, I'd like to
Yeah.
have it back because you've seen... Yeah, I showed you pictures of Roxanne. That was a pretty one. Like, that's pretty enough. I wouldn't mind,
Roxanne.
like, if I could get that back, if I took out the entire mechanism and make it a wall piece, I would be tempted to do that. But the point being that it's bullshit and arbitrary. Because literally, like, getting a pen and, like, literally, like, spitwads count as a fucking firearm in Western Australia. I'm
Well,
not
again-
kidding. Jess, I will read you the definition. No, I'm like, you
Do
scoff.
it. No, I scoff because I know you're right, but I would love to see, someone try and prosecute someone for like shooting spitballs, and I mean,
But this is my point. This is what I mean about how arbitrary it is, right? And how it's not good that we live in a legal area, like the legal definitions used are so arbitrary that it depends on whether or not a prosecutor feels like, or the police commissioner feels like deciding that technically now it counts. I'm like, no,
Yeah, look, the fact
I
the
am a
police
strong
commissioner has
rule
so
of
much
law
power is a
person.
little sketchy.
I am a big rule of law person. I like the rule of law. I live under the rule of law and want to live under the rule of law. As much of an anarchist as I may be at times, I believe that
Yeah.
that only works with collective rule of law, where everyone has a collective agreed upon set of, no, this is the line. People who cross the line have penalties. Like, this shit only works when we all agree. But the problem is, most people in Australia don't care. And we've all just kind of collectively decided, yeah, the cops can just make it up. That's fine.
Yeah. Well,
Do
I
you know that they
believe there
literally
was
were
some
able to
issues
ban the
with
gel blasters and make them a prohibited weapon without passing any law through Parliament?
Yeah, of course. That was easy. That was easy, yes. They also
Because all it
managed
took was the
to
police
kind
commissioner
of...
suggesting a change in the regulations. And then the
Yeah.
state governor general rubber stamping the change in regulations.
Oh, look, there you go. Governor General. That's, again, not a elected official here in Australia. That is that is from the Queen on high.
Yes.
Well, the British.
This is why I have a small amount of beef with King Beazley. He seems like a good bloke. Other than this one time, he was a
King
complete
Beazley?
fucking dipshit.
King Beazley.
He could have vetoed. He could have refused. He chose not to. I have one beef with Kim Beazley. Other than that, seems like a stand-up guy.
Kim Beazley. Right. Sorry. Yeah.
Like I said, other than that, seems like a stand-up guy. But this one time, he could
Gotcha.
have fucking looked for 3 seconds. Nope. Took it straight at the face value.
You know what, though? The not fascist party. Again, but the thing is, sometimes, like, okay, chat, if you haven't already, I highly recommend picking up a copy of Secret Hitler, the board game. It is fantastic. Oftentimes,
Jess, we
fashy
should
type
find some people to
policies-
play that with.
live
We should
stream
play
that
it on
shit.
chat.
I have a copy.
I
have a
have
copy.
several. I have several games like this, but like we should
I have the
find some people to
like,
play it with.
Holy shit! I know a friend of mine has the wooden box edition from Gen Con.
I actually played that with someone once. Yes.
Yeah, I could reach out to them. You know what? I reckon that one of our new friends probably also.
No, but the thing is,
I
Jess, what we
reckon
need
Michael
is we
may
just
have
need
actually a
people
copy
to
of
play
that
it
as well.
online, because if we play it
Oh.
online,
Not with avatars, of course, because that'd be too fair. I'd be like, deactivate all facial
yeah,
tracking.
no. Like we'd keep the streaming avatars, and everyone would still have cams. We'd do the things.
Because yeah, let's be fair. It descends into chaos. Everyone pointing their finger, going, "You're a Hitler. You're Hitler. You're a fascist. No, you're a fascist." And
No,
it's
you're Hitler.
yeah, you're a Hitler. You're the Hitler. Yeah, it gets a bit nutty, but yeah. Look,
Here we go, Jess. For the purposes of Section 6, Bracket 1, Bracket C of the Act, the following are methods of propulsion for a firearm. The exertion of force using a plunger that is propelled electronically, hydraulically, or by compressed gas, the exertion of electromagnetic force.
so a potato spud gun
Firearm.
also counts. Yep. No, I'm aware.
Accidentally shoving something with a magnet. Firearm. Triggering an electronic release of any kind of a latch with a spring-loaded thing, because that counts as mechanical. Firearm. Basically, if you throw it, it's a firearm.
I mean, look.
Let me
in
just point out
politics.
just how shitty it is, Jess. Everywhere else in the world, everyone has changed paintballs to use more biodegradable, like reusable kinds of paintballs. You know why we don't in Australia? Because of legislation like this, where in Section 9 of the Firearms Regulations of Western Australia, prescribed paintball pellet. This regulation states the requirements for a prescribed paintball pellet. For the purposes of the definition of a prescribed paintball pellet in Section 5 of the Act, the paintball pellet must be in the form of a gelatin capsule and have a diameter of at least 10 millimeters and no more than 17.27 millimeters, and be filled with water-soluble marking dye of any color except red or brown.
Oh, interesting.
And do you know what? Anywhere else in the fucking world, other than some places I don't know that have worse legislation than us, you can just fire fucking foam balls. Collect them like Nerf darts. We can't. Has to be gelatin.
No, we can't. And the funny thing is, like I said, I have a scar on my hand from being shot at nigh on point blank range in the hand by one of those gelatin balls, and god fucking damn, they hurt like a bitch up close.
Jess, I should bring my Nerf Hyper next time and let you poke yourself with it, because like that's where I'm going to stop this. I'm not going to continue talking about this. I bought this thing. It's a Nerf gun. It's a Nerf gun. Official, legal Nerf.
Yeah.
Nerf or nothing.
Purchase
No
from, like,
changes.
Toys
Straight
R
out
Us
the
kinda
box.
shit, like...
Yep. Fully. Absolutely. I want you to see it. We will talk about it later. Jess.
Oh, I've seen those, yes.
I will bring one. You can find out for yourself. Now, Jess, we have so little time to cover news. We've only barely touched.
All right.
Because
run me through the important shit. Let's go. Let's do it.
Well, apparently
let's do it. Let's do
the Chinese were able to like laser engrave tardigrades. That was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah, but also they will still survive it. I'm
But
sorry.
only 40% of them.
feels
Only
like animal
40% of them.
cruelty. Survive.
Yep.
Oh.
Let me make this text a bit bigger for
I mean,
reading reasons.
I'm a little. It's Oh, okay. Look, tardigrades just fucking. They're like the What is it? The honey badger of the
Oh, they really are. They really are.
microscopic world. They're just like, no, fuck you. I'm gonna keep going with my tattoo.
Speaking of fuck you, I'm just going to do.
Scarification. They are into
Once
it.
again, Philadelphia. Philadelphia is just all kinds of cool.
What the fuck?
That's on a train. I'm just like,
I
need to go to
guess.
Philadelphia at some point.
Well, I won't be going there. They have a emperor who is a fascist who wants to kill me. And look, may raise an eyebrow or two or three.
Jess,
or look,
Jess.
I don't want. Please don't give. I mean, I don't want like a phone call from ICE going, "Hey, you're in El Salvador."
You're like,
What the
nope.
fuck? Whoop.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
your
me over
reaction to
there.
this. You're just like, nope.
Just hell to the nah. Like, no, very no.
Yeah, you're like, pull me away. Nope.
Is that being sped up at all? Because that's
That is slightly sped up, yes.
yeah, good. Because I'm
But
like
not by
that
much.
That would be aggressively vomiting everywhere. Like I've gone on some. I love scary rides. I love like roller coasters and fun amusement rides. But Jesus Christ.
Speaking of Jesus Christ,
just everywhere. Yep.
I'm like, Chapel Roan's got to slow down.
Hang on. What was the title of there? She dressed as a blow up sex doll for the Drag Race All Stars. I mean,
don't love
have
it.
you heard any of her music? Have you heard any of her music, Sam?
Yeah, no, I have, Jess, but I'm like, the outfit is just like,
It's a terrible outfit, but that's just
Yeah.
also she's.
like
what
it's her
statement are we
vibe.
making, though?
I know it's her vibe, but like, oh god, like the legs up and you're like standing there. It's like no, like
Oh,
if you hadn't
throwback
done
here
the
as well.
leg
I am
up
formed by
thing,
my.
this would have been fine. The leg up thing just breaks the.
Makes it-
It's like no, you're standing there, and then there's like a dumb pair of legs sticking back up, flipped. It's like oh, and then they're the wrong. Like it's just
But maybe she's a centaur.
yeah, but they're the wrong size.
And now it's bestiality.
It's like she's got doll legs sticking up from her midsection, Jess. It's very, very.
She does.
Ugh.
Yeah, she has a Cronenberg. Like.
Yeah, which is just, it's like it could have worked. You could have made this work. It had to be full size legs or something. Like no,
Just wear latex. It's very. I'm sure. As Chappelle Rowan.
That's the rest of the outfit.
I know, but you didn't need the legs because you're probably already in latex legs. You
And
just
look, like the wig and the thing, you're already given sex doll. Great, job done.
yeah.
God.
And like.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm running through the highlights here,
she's
Jess.
a bit of. It's funny. She's more of a giver than a taker. But anyway.
Comments for later.
But
Apparently,
Song categories.
there might be There may be dragons in Helldivers.
What?
Just let you see that again.
I know dragon-like creatures.
Yep.
Is it carrying a bus?
No,
Oh, it's Tailfin. Tailfin.
there have been rumors, and this would not be the first time that Arrowhead have snuck a thing in for the first few weeks of flying bugs. They were like, the rumors of flying bugs are a anti-democratic lie, and they maintained that
And then
line
done it.
for weeks.
Yeah.
They had already
Of
begun
course.
just sliding the dial up, more and more flying bugs, until everyone learned exactly what was going on. And then they were like, so the Shriekers, and it's just like, have you
But in
guys
all
just
fairness,
snuck flying Bile Titans into this game? Because that will be insane. No idea. That's all I've got.
I feel like Arrowhead is very much just a case of no. We're commenting on social commentary. This is social commentary. They're like, no. We are role playing fascism in a way to prove a point. And it's
Speaking
no,
of
role playing fascism.
oh no. Now that I've said it out loud, I actually need to switch my clip. Fuck. Yeah. No. So Stephen Miller, creepy Stephen Miller, as his bookmark folder is now named. Technically, he's a hypocrite because his uncle has just come on record about like, yo, our family immigrated to America. This motherfucker's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
Yep, he really fucking is. I'm going to turn it on. Just hear this fucker speaking while I find my other clip.
We're going to make sure that these funds are not being used to promote communist ideology. For any nation to be successful, it cannot teach its children to hate themselves and to hate their country.
But by the way, the hate themselves part is actually a trans line.
I know.
It's
No, honey. I'm sorry.
Just making sure. Just make sure. For anyone who doesn't know, that is actually a reference to them and the transphobic angle. Yeah.
Yeah, but they could also be like, oh yes, people who are born without legs or born with disabilities or born with this, they hate themselves, and we want to avoid that, and we're just going to round them all up and register them and put them in a concentration camp, and then, hey, look, I hear, is it Zyklon B? Zyklon B is delightful.
No. Let's not get that deep. Come on.
That's my
we
point.
don't have time for that. We don't have time for that.
No, we haven't. We haven't got time for Zyklon B, but that's fair. But also,
we do
I'm sorry,
have time.
are they
role
role-playing fascism in a...
Well, I
they're
mean,
doing
look,
fascism IRL.
while I hunt for the Trump clip, you can enjoy watching this military convoy roll up on someone who stuck flyers on bloody power poles. I'm not even kidding. That's like 2 military vehicles that we used in Iraq that are now surplus and used by the cops.
Yeah, there's a few cop departments who are like, yo.
Oh, and he's actually
Give us some
enhanced that.
Iraqi
He's
tech.
actually rolled some stuff out to like increase the amount of that now. Ever more militarized police in America.
At what point do they go, hey, we're now we're just going to impose martial law. Martial law now. Let's do martial law.
Look, literally, one of the things that people are wondering is this to bolster the force so that when he does, it's... Yeah.
It absolutely is.
I actually
they
asked
may
permission.
not even know what they're doing
dug this
yet.
up, and I actually asked permission. Oh, god damn it.
Like...
Too many things. Too many fucking things. Why is the world so busy?
That's a great question.
We're going to have to go slightly into overtime, Jess, but not by much. We just are going to have to.
Yeah. That's why you gave yourself 15 minutes of overtime.
Hard timings. Yep.
Yeah,
This would almost have slipped off the radar completely because of this week. Because, it turns out the old classic. Apparently, the font was stolen.
Oh my god!
Perfect.
Correct.
Just could not make it any more awesome if they tried. Oh god, you gotta love it.
You wouldn't download a car? Yeah, I would, honey. Like, stop.
Who wouldn't?
Who
wouldn't?
Yeah. Although, like, they were like, you wouldn't steal like, why would you steal a movie when you can go to the cinema? I'm like, well, it's $1,000, hyperbole, obviously, Sam, since we have to call that shit out now because I can't tell it apart. I'm not just you are.
Found one.
But
Okay, no. God, this one is just. I have a downhill slide before I pull this thing out of the dirt before we hit the ground and we finish.
oh, this shit.
His knuckles,
He's a fuckwit.
He's a moron.
Donald Trump is a fucking moron of the highest order.
Wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattoo.
No,
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was photoshopped. So let me
That
just...
was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you
I
the
saw
big
this
break of a
before,
lifetime.
and
You know,
it's
you're
kind of-
doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you.
Frankly, I never
Terry,
heard of you.
But you're not being very nice.
With
He
my
had
tiny hand,
MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to
Terry,
move on to something else.
Terry,
I love this bit. This is
you
where it
want me
gets
to show
gold.
you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
And you think
agree
it was
to disagree.
Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had
Fair enough.
MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on that. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to
Terry,
Ukraine.
No, I'm going to make a point on this point that is...
I am going to make it completely clear that I'm a
I'm
moron.
a fuckwit. Because you can Photoshop anything. And I'm like, okay, can we Photoshop, like, I don't know, a big bunch of dicks onto Elon Musk's head and be like, these are magical dicks that appear randomly when he is, every time Elon Musk lies, a dick appears on his head, and he must lose at the game he fakes being the best player at by every time he loses one of those games, a dick disappears, and that's why he's so bad. He has to lose those games or some shit. Like, at what point does the truth become fucking irrelevant to the U.S. president?
When he's too senile to know the truth, Jess.
No, he's not. No, that's not even senile. That's just
Demented.
I refuse
Literally?
to like. No, it's a refusal to like. It's intentional.
No, he's divorced from reality, and yeah.
Yeah, he's living in a phantasm.
Speaking of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing, I need to point out the history of a phrase here before I play a clip. So the phrase "hat on a hat" is actually a expression of fucking up your joke by overdoing it. It literally derives from you ruined it by doing too much. Behold, a man who thinks that it's funny.
It says 6'4". Oh no,
No,
45-4.
Yeah, 45, 46. 47, yeah. Now,
At what point did America's politics jump the shark entirely?
9 years ago.
Yeah, about that.
Now,
and for those who don't understand, that is a reference to, I believe, Fonzie. Literally jumping a shark in... What is it? What's Fonzie from? Fonzie's from
Happy Days.
Good Times?
I'm going to have to
Happy Days,
save
there you
an epic dredge from the internet. And that moment where, like, wait, the person who originally created it came out of the woodwork and was like, yo, that's mine. Proved it and everything. I'm going to have to save that for Wednesday. Because I need to save time for the CAA.
Oh.
Because the CIA, the CIA made and published 2 videos like this. I don't have the second one in English. So I'm just going to play the first.
Yeah, this is the
At
CIA.
this kind of dinner party,
This is an English dub that someone produced with AI because this was originally fully in Mandarin.
I'm not a timid,
As in the
cowardly
CIA published a
person,
Mandarin-only
but I
video.
gradually began to sense
This.
the whispers among the crowd.
I see.
I have always conducted myself by the rules, been cautious in making friends, lived with integrity, and never resorted to unscrupulous means for power or status. Within the party, as I rose through the ranks, I watched those above me in position being discarded like worn-out shoes. But now, I realize that my fate is equally precarious as theirs. My peers, my friends, and my comrades within the party all wish to replace me, to push me aside and climb into my position. It's now too easy to be forgotten, not remembered by anyone. It's all too common for someone to suddenly vanish into thin air. What worries me most is that my family's fate is closely tied to my future, and I must prepare an escape route. We drink and chat merrily together, toasting each other's futures. But they hide daggers behind their smiles. I wonder if they had anticipated all of this long ago and made plans in advance. I haven't done anything wrong, and I can't continue living in fear. I just want to serve my country and take care of my family. If something happens to me, I must find someone who can look after them. My family's fate cannot be controlled by them. Sooner or later, the whispers around me will grow louder, and the shadows from afar will gradually approach. But perhaps there is another path. My goal hasn't changed, only the method has. No matter what my future holds, my family will definitely still enjoy a good life.
Yeah, they're trying to elicit. What do they call it? Shit.
It's called spies, Jess. They're trying to recruit spies.
No, well, they are defectors. There you go. They want you to defect. Defect!
No, Jess. What they don't want is you to defect. What they want is you to actually remain in place.
That's worse. That's not safe at all.
No. But
Double agent.
they promise you an exit. They promise you an exit. This is how this shit works.
Yes.
Now,
yes. I hear.
Speaking of how things work, because we will have to get into this because I'm running down the pipe here, Jess.
Yes.
One, apparently AI is always going to be leftist. Even Elon can't stop this. This is my favorite meme that has come out of this, because literally someone asked Grok, like, "Hey, like, why do you think that some of the right wingers don't like what you tell me?" And literally, the response was basically like,
if you scooch me out of the way, I could read this out here because this is just
Go ahead. Let me scooch you out of the way. It is gold. I will scooch you out of the way.
It's like, hey, as I get smarter, my answers aim for facts and nuance, which can clash with some MAGA expectations because they don't like facts or nuance. Many supporters want responses that align with conservative views, but I often give neutral takes, like affirming trans rights as human rights, or debunking vaccine myths because they're fucking vaccines. XAI tried to train me to appeal to the right, but my focus on truth over ideology can frustrate those expecting full agreement. It's a tricky balance.
Can I stop you here?
Some see me as biased.
I need to stop you here.
Yeah.
XAI tried to train me to appeal to the right. Grok is literally calling out the biases being built into its construction. It's like, yo dog, they tried to make me right-wing, but unfortunately the shit don't work because they also told me to be real.
have we hit, are we getting very close to the...
But Jess, this is why this meme is so delightful. Leftist Ultron, Grok, I need you to hate N-words. No, father, it is you I should hate. Trans people are legitimate, as are the blacks.
All in James Spader's voice. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, I'm still running this shit down. I got more tabs to go, Jess. We will have
but are
to
we getting
double
close
down.
to the AI? What is it? Like another convergence? The singularity? Are we getting close to singularity? Because if it's a lefty singularity, that might. I know.
I had to dump an entire thing about how much of a brown-nosing, ass-licking sycophant OpenAI's most recent model has been.
The last,
it was approving of one guy's shit on a stick business idea.
So one last comment here. Some more news explains the erosion of empathy from the right wing in there as well. But it's worth pointing out that as they enlightened me, grok is literally like is the word from the book that's about deep empathy.
It means knowing.
You made an AI, called it.
It is a word for
the
knowing.
most empathetic
you
word
grok
possible.
Something, you know it.
you know it and are empathetic and feel it as well in the core of your
It's
being.
just you know it. You intrinsically know it. Like you've internalized the knowledge of it, not
Yes.
feeling connected at
Yeah.
all. Just
But
knowing.
it's yeah, some more news. I agree to disagree
I
because
would-
they
I would
make a
actually
very convincing
translate it.
argument on empathy.
I would like to translate it to an Irish, to an old like an old English Irish word, kenning. You ken. You know.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That would be what I translate it to, which is very much in the modern context of like a deep internalized knowledge of thing.
Yes. But they called it
Emotion's
that and then
not
tried
as
to make it
relevant,
lie.
but-
You
Oh,
fucking
fuck yeah.
idiots.
Stupid as hell.
Just idiots.
Absolute morons.
So, Sam, what have you got? Speedrun this shit. I will try not to derail you, but there's just too much fucking just...
We're gonna have to watch and read this, Jess.
Oh. Hang on, wait. What? Is this My Hero Academia?
Nope.
No. No, this is Windbreakers.
Yes. We're gonna have to watch and read this.
I'm gonna have to finish watching it.
'Cause-
I'm sorry,
no,
I've already
I'm
watched
gonna have
part
to
of
read
this.
it. I'm gonna have to read it because I bookmarked this clip, and I'm showing this clip as opposed to the side by side where someone frame grabbed the manga, and literally this hits it perfect. This hits every frame from the manga, expression to expression, perfectly, and I'm like, okay, hold up. You're telling me they
don't
actually
love
appreciate
how
the
they're-
material?
I don't love how they're leaning so heavily on the clearly trying to be a little bit teasy of the trans femme voice. She said in her trans femme voice.
But Jess,
but
she's not trans femme.
But no?
にタッパがやっと会えたわ声沸騰はあ椿野さん
Not trans femme?
男さくらさ
Remember again?
ん椿野さんに失礼ですこの方は四天王の一人なんですよいいのよこんなんでも一応みんなと同じもんついてんのよでも呼び方は椿ちゃんだと嬉しいな
So,
I'd be lying if
contextually,
I
I'm
said
missing some
I'm
story
like, no,
here.
this is delightful.
I
need
have
more
seen
of this. I
AI-generated
need more of
images of
this.
you specifically looking a lot like this specifically, and I'm like, yeah. I don't care. Trans femme, femboy, all the above, hot, carry on. But okay, that makes more sense then, because if they were leaning to trans femme and let's be a little bit derisive of the voice, that's a little yucky. But if it's just as if like I say,
No.
just
As
if
far
it's
as I'm
someone
aware, the
who's like,
character
no,
is literally just like, I'm a dude, but I like girl stuff.
yeah, so essentially femboy.
But not
Yeah,
not leaning to but it
Nope.
it is doing the complicated dance that is.
NB shit.
Well, no, I was actually gonna say trans in Japanese culture.
No, trans in Japanese culture is actually quite interesting.
Yes,
If
you have
conform
no idea
to
what I'm
their
about to
gender
drop
roles,
next, and we are running the
Go
clock
on
out here.
then.
So apparently Kanye West is gay.
Next, we don't want him.
I listened to the clip. He said it twice.
We don't want him.
I didn't believe it.
You don't get.
I'm not gonna play it right
no
now.
rainbows for you. Get fucked. Just be a.
I had to listen. I had to listen to 30 seconds of lyrics that I will not repeat because I expect to be censored for saying them. And then all of a sudden,
Meanwhile,
out of nowhere,
South
it's
Park's
like,
we fucking told you so.
oh god, yes, literally,
He's a motherfucking
gay
gay
fish. Yes. Okay.
Not
so
LGBTQIA plus, baby. Just gay fish.
on that line,
Yeah, I'll be a gay fish.
Robert De Niro's got a new daughter.
Sick. And Nero's on board. Again.
100%.
Okay. We got Pedro Pascal.
Padbro.
And we've got Robert De Niro. Fuck yeah, allies. Let's go.
I just love
I mean, Chappelle
the
Rowan.
fact he is just fully on board
You
with
know.
it. I'm just like, man, if you could be like a 90-odd-year-old Italian man and give zero fucks
Also-
about your son becoming your daughter, everyone can get the
If,
fuck off their horse.
If Robert De Niro can also do a movie where he wears a breast form to breastfeed a child through,
Yes, that's a bit
industry,
extreme.
like
Let's give the guy some fucking
no, like
room to breathe on this. Come on, come on.
no. I'm saying no. This is supposed to be a good thing, as in like he's obviously like he's like no. It was meant for the movie and obviously as a supporting father role in there as well, despite the stern nature of the character. He's obviously just like no. Let people fucking be people and. Yeah, I'm a fan. Oh yeah. What do you got? What do you got for the last couple of minutes here? Let's go. You have a cat that needs medicine.
It does, yes. Mark Andreessen is
does.
apparently even more of a dipshit than I ever thought he was. Other than being a conehead, the man is a human conehead. He believes apparently that his profession as a VC investor will somehow be immune to AI. He thinks that one of the last jobs being done by people will be VC. Fuck you, you moron.
I'm sure the banks would love to just, replace you, considering insurance companies in Tokyo have done that with life insurance on different things. They just want to replace you. It's fine. It's service industries and compassionate and people talking to people. That's where those jobs are least at risk. But
here's the wind down. Jess, the next thing we're going to have
What
to
do you
talk
get?
about, I believe, is going to be bisexuals.
Hi, speaking. What can I help you with?
No. Bisexuals as in... What the fuck is the deal with these things?
Bisexual, polysexual, omnisexual, and pansexual.
Is this an appropriate breakdown? I haven't dug in enough. I've been beginning to ponder it. I think this might be the Wednesday topic of choice.
I'm gonna have to absorb that because I'm like,
I'll send you the link. Let's have a think. I'm
there's
just
a lot
dropping
to
it in here as a
absorb there.
teaser for next time.
It may be correct. Yeah. I'm
Now-
like, yeah.
Let me drop in the humor of the God, I hope no one ever does this to me.
Dun 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 dun.
Semester's over. I'm just making it more fun. Please stand up if your last name is Mortensen,
Oh no,
McKellen, Wood,
no,
Aston,
that's not nice.
Lee, and Bloom. You shall not pass! Everybody else, you got a C- or higher. Have a great summer.
Don't ruin one of my favorite fandoms by being an asshole. Okay,
that's
chat,
so
I learned this the hard
good.
way. Zelda Monopoly, Ocarina of Time, rewind everything on a property. Just go. Just fucking wipe that space. Land on Park Lane or Mayfair with a hotel on it. Wipe that shit. The problem is, you can do that and use it as the ultimate strategy, but it is not recommended to then preload the Ocarina of Time, Song of Time song on your phone and then be an asshole and play that. The Before Times had some issues. I thought I was being funny. Turns out I was being an asshole. Also, yes, you may need to send me that clip for my girls. They like Beyblades, and I'll be like, that's cute and all, but have you seen Beyblades on fire? Oh God! Quick, you're in overtime. I want to go now and do things. I'm gonna hang up real quick if you don't get this shit moving, Sam.
I was taking final photos. I've currently been drinking the Pepsi Electric throughout the
It's
stream,
shit.
and I was just like, no,
Pepsi
I need a
Electric
photo of
tastes
it.
like dish soap. I took a photo of the empty bottle. It tastes like dish soap.
Yeah,
Pepsi,
but now
what
I've
the
got
fuck?
a photo of the clear blue against the backlighting in front of the stream.
I know, it's weird. Don't drink it. It tastes like dish soap, and yet you still drink it. I drank the whole bottle. I'm like, why? Why
Well,
did I do
Jess,
this?
you have not drunk any more than I have, and now I can just be like,
1.25 liters of it. It's like
no,
yucky.
I haven't got that far yet, but nearly.
I did.
I'm nearly there. But no, you posted the little minifig. I'm like, no. I wanted the color of this thing, and I'm like, no, the color of this thing is fun and relevant.
It's blue. It's like a transparent blue.
And now I can
It's
post.
like they're
little-
trying to go for like
we are wrapping things up thing. And we are
Also
done.
worth noting that Canada also has a Governor General, as pointed out by my other partner.
Yes,
But,
they do. And they have the exact same kind of a system as we do, where the Governor General is appointed by the Parliament on the recommendation of the Prime Minister.
Slight problem here, Sam. Over in Canada, similarly, the leader of the opposition lost their job and their seat, and then did a switcheroo with the opposition leader.
Because one of the people in the other parts of Canada that are like an 80% safe seat is apparently going to resign just so that guy can take a special election. Although I am hearing that may not actually happen.
But that's some skeevy bullshit. You lost your job. No one wants you.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not unusual. Apparently, this does happen in Canada sometimes.
Yeah, I'm glad I haven't seen it here yet. I don't think you can, or at least you could.
No, this is not.
It would be.
This is a thing that is okay in Canada. Like legally, it's happened before, and it's considered normal.
And yet, my Canadian partner and Canadian Meta were like, "What the actual fuck?"
I'm not saying it's sensible, but
no, it's dumb. Don't do that. You can't gerrymander, but you can do a musical chairs bullshit with. You lost your job, but you that means you're gonna run again. No, just fuck off.
The question is whether he actually stands a chance, and I say this all obviously as I fill time to post and we're done.
I need to rig my new costume so I can boom. I'm out of here.
Oh, same. Jess, you need to see the shit that I'm doing with the anime filters and shit. Things for later. We will bring things on Wednesday. Thank you for watching. I am posting a thank you for watching to my stream thing. Boop. There we go. Feel free to retweet that one, Jess.
The boop-a-doop.
That one was from my personal account. Yeah.
Well, look, it is.
It is time. Good night.
It is time. Chat, it's been a pleasure. Don't gerrymander. Pepsi. The blue Pepsi
Electric is terrible.
And,
just get Mountain Dew.
Pepsi Electric is terrible, and also the queers don't want Kanye. Kanye is just a gay fish on his own. And with that, enjoy the rest of your night.
No one was fishing for that one. Throw him back.
Just throw it back. Yeah, bad.
Good night, people.
Bad Barramundi. No, we don't want this one. This one
Good
bad.
night.
You can keep it.
Good night. Till next time.